How to use pivot tables in Microsoft Excel. In this tutorial, I will show you how to use the basic pivot table in Excel. A pivot table is a powerful tool in Microsoft Excel that allows you to summarize and analyze large amounts of data in a few simple steps. With a pivot table, you can quickly identify trends, patterns, and outliers in your data, and make informed decisions based on your findings. Here are the steps to create a pivot table in Excel. First, you need to have a dataset that you want to analyze. For example, let's say you have a list of sales transactions with the following columns: date, product, region, salesperson, and sales. Next, select any cell within your dataset and click on the Insert tab on the Excel ribbon. Then, click on the Pivot Table button. You have an option to choose from table or range and from an external data source. Since we already have a table or range, I'm going to choose this one. Now, a pivot table dialog box will show up. In this table range, make sure the range of your data is correct and choose whether you want to place the pivot table in a new worksheet or an existing one. If you click on New Worksheet, you will be directed to another worksheet, which is commonly used for a large amount of data, and if you click on Existing Worksheet, your pivot table will be created in the same sheet. I will choose New Worksheet. Then, click OK to create the pivot table. The new worksheet will be created. You can also use the keyboard shortcut to create the pivot table. Just press Alt, D, P, F, and the result will be the same. You should now see a blank pivot table with the Pivot Table Fields pane on the right. To show the pivot table fields, click here, and the Table Fields pane will show up. This pane shows all the columns from your dataset, organized by their headers: date, product, region, salesperson, and sales. Drag and drop the columns you want to analyze into the rows, columns, and values areas of the Pivot Table Fields pane. For example, if you want to see the total sales for each product in each region, drag the product column to the rows area, the region column to the columns area, and the sales column to the values area. Make sure that the values are set to sum to get the total. You can also summarize the values by count, average, max, and min. Just right-click here, then choose Summarize Values By, and you can choose between them. But since we want to know the total product sales per region, we will stick to sum values. The pivot table will automatically summarize the data by product and region and show the total sales for each combination. Another example, let's say, you only need to know the total sales of Region 1. Drag down the region in the rows area. Then here, you can filter the region that you want to show up. Unselect all, then select Region 1. Go back to the area pane and drag down the sales in values. Here, you will only get the total sales in Region 1. You can also add slicers to your pivot table to further refine the data. To add a slicer, go to the Insert tab, then Slicer. Choose the header that you want to filter. I will choose the product and region because these are our main categories, then hit OK. Now, the slicer will show up, the product and the region. Here, you can start filtering your table. For example, if you want to filter Region 2, just click here, and only Region 2 will show up. You can also filter by product. For instance, if you only need to know the values of Product 10 in this region, just click on Product 10. Now, the only data displayed will be the total values of Region 2 in Product 10. To remove the filter, click on the red X. You can also customize the appearance of your pivot table by choosing a different layout, applying a style, or adding conditional formatting. Right-click on the pivot table and select Pivot Table Options to access these settings. Here, you can choose the formats and display for your data based on your preferences. If you make changes to your main data, you can update your pivot table by simply right-clicking on the pivot table and selecting Refresh. That's it. With these simple steps, you can create a pivot table in Excel and start analyzing your data like a pro. Pivot tables are a powerful tool for data analysis and can save you a lot of time and effort compared to manually sorting and summarizing your data. If you have any questions or need clarification, feel free to drop a comment, and I'll do my best to answer. Please don't forget to like and share this video with others. Thank you for watching, and see you in our next tutorial.